every time I think about it. Can't stop thinking about it. How much longer will it
Go to school! Also, the premise of Pixar's Up was surprisingly inspired by the DreamWorks logo in a Shrek movie.
Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away,
Once upon a time, cliché in her reading.
until the sun went down, and they saw that their daughter was cursed with a frightful enchantment.
Prince Charming got the revised copy of the story Shrek was reading in the outhouse at the beginning of the last film, because this is the exact same story, only with extra details.
They sought the help of a fairy godmother, who had them lock the young princess away in a tower, there to await the kiss of the handsome Prince Charming.
Even for a fairy tale, this sounds like the worst plan ever. Instead of simply keeping the princess somewhere close, fairy godmother and her parents decide to put Fiona in some remote castle with a f***ing dragon.
Traveling for many days and nights, risking life and limb to reach the dragon's keep.
Is it just me, or is it creepy that the prince traveled all this way just to get it on with a woman he doesn't even know, even though he's on a mission? I mean, I know we're a long way from Tinder, but this is pretty f***ing desperate.
What?
Why the f*** is this asshole living this far away in the castle? Wasn't there a happy ending in Shrek where all the animals could live in the forest again? Also, nice pork illustrated joke, but this is taking a love of ham to a sexual extreme that I didn't know existed until I saw it in this kid's movie. Also, I know Prince Charming is self-absorbed and this journey is super long, but how the f*** did he not hear about Fiona's marriage to Shrek? I mean, not one asshole told this guy about the ogre who married the princess. Back in whatever time this is, 8mm cameras existed. Probably Nicolas Cage, too.
Maybe I'm in love. Think about it every time I think about it.
Sure, it's not as objectionable as Smash Mouth's All-Star, but Counting Crows is the best you can do movie. It's 2004! Was Ashley Simpson not available? This image conjures up way more scares than I think is intended. Hansel, of Hansel and Gretel fame, opened up a gingerbread house for a romantic getaway? As in, the place where Hansel and Gretel nearly got eaten by a witch? And you're telling me after this incident that he experienced with his sister, he said, man, that would be a great place for a honeymoon.
Wanna turn around and face me, but come on, turn.
What the f*** was Little Red Riding Hood doing in a honeymoon hideaway anyway? Does she have an arrangement with one of the couples and knocked on the wrong door? Or does she think her grandma married the woodsman? Mike Myers inadvertently invents a new category on Pornhub called ogering. How did the ocean pull off this trick? And why did this mermaid harlot start immediately kissing Shrek when she was thrown into it? And does Fiona really think a mermaid wanted to f*** Shrek? I am so confused. Movie goes a long way to make a Lord of the Rings reference with no payoff. There are still assholes trying to kill Shrek and Fiona even after the revelations in the last movie.
In love. Accidentally in love.
Shrek movie is unable to hold in a fart joke for more than 5 minutes. With a moon this big, total eclipses should occur way more frequently and last longer than 2 minutes. We're supposed to believe these trumpet players walked the entire way from far, far away to Shrek's swamp, a distance that will be nauseatingly recreated in the next scene.
The king will bestow his royal blessing upon you and your, Prince Charming.
Why would this dude continue this message? In the first movie, everyone was freaked out by ogres, and in this one, they're still getting chased by pitchfork-wielding villagers.
Don't you think they might be a bit shocked to see you like this?
Why would they? How did nobody hear about the wedding in the last movie? You know, the wedding where some sort of magical pixie fairy dust changed Fiona into an ogre forever? Even in these times, the news would have spread faster than this.
But they're my parents, Shrek. They love me.
They love you so much, they put you in a f***ing castle thousands of miles away, guarded by a dragon, and only by the luckiest of circumstances could you ever return.
They just want to give you their blessing.
Now I need their blessing?
Jesus, what was the point of the first movie if Shrek's just gonna reboot to being a sandy butthole, just so he can learn to open up again?
We are not going, and that's final.
Good to see that this joke was still very old back in 2004. The big bad wolf can just appear wherever he wants, even though he was 1,000 miles away the last time we saw him. This song, originally titled F*** Off, was written by Nile Rodgers after being denied entrance to Studio 54, and Mike Myers played Steve Rubell in the movie about Studio 54. All this to say, this is the only interesting pop culture reference in this movie, and I'm 99% certain it was unintentional.
Are we there yet?
It's easy for me to say this goes on for some time, because this Are We There Yet bullshit goes on forever. So, because it's an overlong joke wrapped loosely by a cliche, I'm gonna add 5 cents. Also, if I didn't live through it, you would have never convinced me that this movie made nearly $1 billion worldwide, and was once the 3rd highest grossing film of all time.
Heck, it ain't no in-flight movie or nothing.
I would like Donkey to explain where in this world, flight, movies, and in-flight movies exist. Seriously, this movie is f***ing 82 minutes without counting the credits. I'm convinced the initial cut was 23 before they started adding shit like this. The Kingdom of Far, Far Away has a Burger Prince, but it's tucked away behind a whole bunch of other shops. Someone forgot to tell these assholes about the importance of location, location, location. Apparently Rapunzel and Cinderella live in the same goddamn place. Who's the princess in this town anyway? Seriously, this news has never made it here. And I know it's far, far away, but give me a fucking break.
Who on earth are they?
I think that's our little girl.
You know, the one that changed into an ogre every night and we sent to a castle thousands of miles away? Yeah, I guess that's easy to forget. If they were so certain that Fiona had married Prince Charming and broke the curse, how did they send the proper invite to Shrek's swamp?
Well, I suppose that will be a fine place to raise the children.
Listen, if the movie continues to pad its runtime with overlong silliness like this, I will continue to sin that.
It's great, okay?
Well, for his type, yes.
This movie could have been some really subversive if Fiona had stayed a human princess. Perhaps a fun take on Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. But it sold out this couple in order to make more fart jokes. Was this dinner with a full turkey, a lobster, a giant fish, and a pig really meant for 4 people, even if 2 of them are ogres? Look, I'm all for anachronisms. I voted for anachronisms back in 2056, but this movie is going too far.
Let's go, Kyle.
Why does Fairy Godmother need a flying carriage to get where she's going? And didn't she show up to Fiona's balcony riding a bubble from space?
Hello, Harold. What happened?
Nothing, Joe. Just the old crusade wound playing up a bit.
Shrek franchise continues its pattern of allowing people within earshot to hear conversations, only if it's convenient to the plot. Also, this is a fairy tale set in a completely different universe, but the Crusades also happen in their world.
Oh, what's new?
You remember my son, Prince Charming?
Charming.
Holy Prince Charming is Fairy Godmother's son? How the did they this up?
After I endured blistering winds, scorching desert,
Mummy can handle this. He endures blistering winds and scorching desert.
This movie in a nutshell. Do something, then have somebody repeat that something, then fart or have Donkey do something annoying.
Some gender-confused wolf.
That's 2000 Forest.
I mean, it wasn't my fault. He didn't get there in time.
How long did it take Prince Charming to go on this journey? I mean, in the first movie, Shrek was reading a book about Fiona, had time to go to Farquaad's castle, then went all the way back to wherever Fiona was locked up, brought her back, married her, and went on a honeymoon before Prince Charming got close to saving her.
Harold, you force me to do something I really don't want to do.
All this is a setup to Fairy Godmother going off her diet to eat at some fast food restaurant. But clearly her hired muscle thought it was time to beat up the king here. The director said, let's make this tavern sign a bite out of an apple. It'll make it look like even more of an asshole.
Like my town, with a little drop of poison.
Oh man, they dragged poor Tom Waits into this, didn't they?
Oh God.
How the did they hear that?
There's only one fella can handle a job like that.
Where could I find him?
I know the king has a personal stake in getting Fiona together with Prince Charming, but why is he doing all this himself? He's the king. Doesn't he have a mountain that can handle this shit? Why does Shrek wear socks when he goes to bed? Isn't he used to being in a swamp? Barefoot? The fucking eels are on this soundtrack? The quality ratio of the music to the movie is approaching Purple Rain status. Even though her alter ego is an ogre-looking being, Fiona's parents bought her a terrifying ogre toy when she was a kid.
Sleeping Beauty is having a slumber party tomorrow.
That's a good joke, but was she really called Sleeping Beauty when she was a kid? And do all the fairy tale princesses live in the same era?
I just really need to make things work with this guy.
But what you really need to be doing is making that Scottish accent reappear. Really starting to think that the script for this movie was like 13 original lines, and the rest was just references to other better movies. Mike Myers' character gets hit in the balls. Example, 392. Also, the movie confirms the fact that ogres have testicles in the same place as human, which is a question I didn't realize I had.
Puss! In woods?
With the Mike Myers connection, you're just the cat in the hat to me.
What do you reckon we should do with him?
I say we take the sword and neuter him right here. Give him the Bob Barker treatment.
I truly want to know what kind of life Donkey lives where he knows about stuff like in-flight movies, Shirley Bassey, and Bob Barker. If the world these assholes live in is one by which they have to ride a horse-drawn carriage to go somewhere, then knowledge of Bob Barker proves they're traveling stupidly.
I implore you, it was nothing personal to you.
Puss in Boots is apparently such a badass that he's the one guy with a reputation of being an ogre killer, but he's defeated by Shrek picking him up by the back of the fucking neck. Damn it, this movie's stupid.
I just wish I could make her happy.
We're supposed to feel sympathy for Shrek here, but all he's done in this relationship is boss Fiona around, actively ignore what she's saying, and read her diary while she was sleeping. So I'm saying, f that sympathy until it's actually earned.
Think of the saddest thing that's ever happened to you.
I don't know, it may be hard to find a copy of The Adventures of Pluto Nash out here. Jesus Christ, the logic in this movie. This is supposed to be Fiona's fairy godmother. You're saying she appears for anyone that cries in the entire world?
I'm either away from my desk or with a client. But if you come by the office...
Yeah, all we need to do is show you a picture of the office and you'll be able to find it.
A pinch of passion.
Hard to believe that a fairy godmother with this kind of power wasn't able to just turn Fiona into an all-day human with a simple little bit of magic. Charming would have married her, none of this would have happened.
Cinderella. There we are, lived happily ever after.
Yeah, but in the last Shrek, which was apparently only a couple of months ago, according to this movie, Cinderella was still available. So how did this story get written so fast? This fools anyone.
Puss, do you think you could get to those on top?
How does Shrek know what any of these do, let alone whether the ones on the top work on his particular problem?
Toadstool softener?
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sure a nice BM is the perfect solution for marital problems.
If the writers of these movies had a say in it, they would. The guy with the hat has to grab his hat before the door closes because Indiana Jones did it that one time cliche. These people are so bad at shooting, I'm shocked Donkey doesn't make a stormtrooper reference. Shrek is a big, lumbering f***ing ogre, but displays some crouching tiger, hidden dragon moves out of f***ing nowhere.
He will rue the very day he stole my kingdom from me!
The script of these movies have notes in the margins that say, when in doubt, do something involving gas or poop. Remember your George of the Jungle training.
Hey man, this don't feel right.
Donkey waits to object to this plan until after they've gone to the factory, broken in, stole the potion, and made their escape.
Shrek, I think you grabbed the 40 ever after potion.
Have I mentioned this movie made nearly $1 billion? Why does the mushroom turn into a rose instantly, but Shrek and Donkey don't turn into their handsome selves until later? Don't give me any of that, they're bigger so it takes longer bullshit either. This is a magic potion, goddammit.
I'm coming to listen.
Movie goes for that sweet Sanford & Sons nostalgia that drove kids wild back in 2004.
It was a mistake to bring Shrek here. I'm gonna go out and find him, and then we're gonna go back to the swamp where we belong.
I guess she made this decision while thinking about her love for Shrek over the course of the day, even though she hasn't seen him since their unresolved argument last night. And the only thing she's discovered is that he abandoned her after reading her diary. I know it's a happily ever after potion, and Shrek and Fiona's love tie them together over space and time like Interstellar, and I'm completely fine with that. But if it requires two people in love to work, why would it turn a mushroom into a rose? And why wouldn't the potion have some sort of crossover effect between Shrek, Donkey, and the mushroom? And if Donkey changes into a stallion, why doesn't it turn Dragon into a filly or Catherine the Great?
Taut round buttocks? I'm
Gorgeous.
I'll say.
Damn, these milkmaids are so horned up that they'll hit on the first dude that passes out in their barn.
To make the effects of this potion permanent, the drinker must obtain his true love's kiss by midnight.
What a shitty potion if it has these kind of rules. I mean, the potion affected Fiona without her even drinking it. Shouldn't that already be proof of true love without a fucking kiss?
Tell the truth, will I ever be able to play the violin again?
Oh, you poor creature.
So, are talking animals common in this world? This asshole is literally in a horse-drawn carriage, where the horses are acting like regular horses, but he runs into a talking one and doesn't bat a f***ing eyelash.
Fiona!
Shrek?
Shrek knows exactly where Fiona's room is, and Fiona came directly from there, so why wouldn't they just run into each other? Also, Fairy Godmother somehow knew that Fiona would yell, Shrek would hear the scream and run after her, they'd miss each other running through the castle, and he'd come running into this room, allowing her to switch Shrek with Prince Charming before she can see him. Also, how did Fairy Godmother know that Shrek would take the potion before getting back to the castle, setting up these shenanigans?
Shrek?
For you, baby, I could be.
Antonio Banderas is the best thing about this movie.
Shrek?
Aye, Fiona, it is me.
How in the ever-loving f*** does Fiona not know what Prince Charming looks like? It's not like Fairy Godmother kept him hidden all these years, hoping she'd be able to do this switcheroo, and she wrote all about him in her diary.
If you really love her, you'll let her go.
Wait, she f***ing let him go? I mean, he could have said anything to get out of the room, then walked right back up to Fiona and won her back, right? Jesus, the silly conflicts this movie throws in for no reason are maddening.
People just ain't no good.
Man, this cover of Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah sounds f***ed up.
Can't believe you're gonna just walk away from the best thing that ever happened to you.
What choice do I have?
Lots! You could even tell Fiona about the mix-up and let her decide. Crazy, right?
Is she here? She's, in the back.
Luckily for Shrek and crew, the king has unfinished business with Fairy Godmother, taking place in this seedy tavern of all places, so that they can get vital plot details. This goofy sign says no skin, no bones, no service, but in an earlier bar scene, there were clearly a couple of Ents hanging out, which have neither. If you're gonna do silly, do it consistently, movie.
Have Fiona drink this and she'll fall in love with the first man she kisses.
Why didn't you just give her this potion in the first place, since the other potion only works with true love's kiss? Why did you even chance this
Thank you, Mother.
Mother!
Movie again abandons what could be an exciting chase scene because we don't have time for that but we do have time for a fucking fart montage at the beginning of the movie and
Princess Fiona and Prince Shrek and oh my...
Movie saves animation time and resources by using the actual Joan Rivers.
Look, Hansel and Gretel!
You mean they're still kids? How does Hansel run a successful gingerbread honeymoon hideout at this age?
Hey, mice, pass me a buffalo wing.
I can believe in magic and monsters and spells and potions, but I refuse to believe that this fucking gingerbread man can fully consume a chicken wing.
Tonight on Nights.
Cops spoof that just happens to feature Shrek and company getting arrested shows up conveniently so that these dicks can save Shrek. Not only is this commercial that shows every aspect of the arrest bull, but the ability of medieval TV producers to edit live video for broadcast that night is total nonsense too.
Police brutality! Police brutality! Come on!
Wait, Shrek and Donkey raced off from the bar with Fairy Godmother in hot pursuit, who is, magic? So why and how did the fucking village knights need to get involved?
Catnip.
That's no mine.
God damn, this movie's never seen a cheap joke it won't make.
You'd be surprised how much I changed for your mother.
Change? He's completely lost his mind.
Let's back up a second. All we've seen is Fiona talking to Prince Charming one time. And yes, things were a little off, but we haven't seen any other interaction between these two that would sell the fact that Prince Charming makes a horrible Shrek.
Shrek? Donkey?
How did these guys find Shrek's exact prison cell? I guess it's also lucky that there's a skylight in this thing too. Also, isn't this high up in the castle? How did they get all the way up here? They blew the top off the dungeon without anyone hearing, by the way, but where did they get the key to the shackles? Damn it, spend some time on some logic, movie. Any logic.
What?
Shrek gets the totally insane idea that the Muffin Man can build a giant gingerbread man that will help them storm the castle, and it turns out he's right. By the way, was there ever any explanation as to how the gingerbread man got his light back?
It's alive!
What the movie doesn't show is the giant gingerbread man smashing up the poor Muffin Man's house after he agreed to this stupid plan. I'm glad this movie didn't get made past the year 2008, or else we would have had DreamWorks looking for a gingerbread man versus Pillsbury Doughboy franchise. Throw in the Jolly Green Giant and Mothra while you're at it.
She's taken the potion! Kiss her now!
Forcible Frenching. Fairy Godmother decides to shoot some sort of spell that went to the 300 school of slow motioning things. Wait a minute, if the spell the Fairy Godmother shot towards Shrek bounced off the king's armor, then how did it change him into a frog?
Boss! The happily ever after potion!
Midnight.
The second that the clock hits midnight, it's midnight. Not after the bells chime 12 times.
Is this what you want? To be this way forever?
It's not so much what she wants, but what the studio and the people paying to see Shrek movies want. As I see the exact same transformation that I saw in the last movie, I just had a thought. This movie's no different from the original. It's about Fiona accepting who Shrek is, denying another prince a chance to marry her, and changing into an ogre in the end, with a few extra characters sprinkled in.
Upside, inside out, she's living la vida loca.
At this point, this song had been out for 5 fucking years, and as fun as it is, everyone had heard it on the radio and at a million weddings, parties, bar mitzvahs, and quinceañeras. Yet, here comes a dance montage to keep pouring salt on our wounds.
All by myself.
Haha, you thought mid-credit scenes were a Marvel creation, but Shrek's the real culprit for this cultural abomination. Great, now I'm going to be thinking all day about how a donkey gets his penis into a dragon vagina.
What about the ROUSs?
Rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist.
So long, boys! I'll send you a postcard from Paradise Falls.
Down the stairs? Oh, well, don't stop when you get to the basement. Keep straight on. Give my regards to the Earth's core.
You must tie her down on a bed and spank her. You must spank her well, and after you have spanked her, you may deal with her as you like.
That's not a woodpecker. It looks like someone's...
Privates! We have reports of an unidentified flying object! It is a long, smooth shaft, complete with two balls!
I suppose any grandchildren I could expect from you would be...
ogres. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
Please call me Dad.
How you doing, Dad?
I'm doing fine. Come on, Charlie.
All right, away and go with your mother, all right? And while you're there, why don't you try one of her bras on, you wee girl? Float away, you fairy!
I snore last night. Sometimes I snore when I'm drunk.
Taut round buttocks?
And I'm human again, only human again, poised and polished and gleaming with charm.
I'm free, I'm free. Dang it.